All right, so we are in the car on our way to the airport.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here. I'm here to inspire you. I'm here to speak something to your life. Wait for, let's go. I see them dreams.
Right, it's a little unstable.
Wow.
Bossy McBoss up there.
Hump day. Are at compared to the city of the year 70 AD. This is 70 AD.
The great commandment, love God with all your heart, with all your soul and strength, love your neighbor as yourself. At the end of the Gospels, you have the Great Commission, go into all the world, preach the gospel, make disciples, baptize them. I view this as like the great empowerment. You have the commandment that we live by, the commission that we go by, but the empowerment that we can do all those things that happen in the
Where are we going?
the caves underneath of Caiaphas' house, where Jesus would have been held before being taken to the cross.
This pit right here.
I am shut up and I cannot get out.
Courageous, but yet a little child asks him and he falls, he crumbles, you know. But when he's around his other friends and community and other people, it gives him the courage to continue to walk it out.
It was never condemnation producing. It's always life giving.
Okay, so today is Sunday morning. Got down to the hotel lobby probably about an hour ago, and we are headed to the Wailing Wall today. So if you don't know, a lot of people go there and they pray, and they actually roll up little prayers and they stick them in the wall. Maybe your prayers maybe get answered a little bit more there. So I came down and I took a moment and I wrote down a bunch of prayers for, you know, things I want to see in my life, for my friends, and I'm going to go and roll them up and I'm going to stick them in the cracks of the wall. Walking up to the Wailing Wall right now, you got to cover your head when you go up. I got a stack of prayers. You got to be greedy when it comes to prayer. Word says you have not because you ask not. If my prayers don't get answered, it won't be because I didn't ask, that's for sure. So I probably just put in about 20 or 25 prayers into the cracks of the wall. It was almost hard to find a space. There's just so many prayers in there. But, you know, prayers for the things that I'm working on, you know, City Fam, home, the book, prayed for my family, put in prayers for a lot of my friends, Epic. What'd you think, B?
Wow, man. Just touched heaven. Here. We're going to go this way up to the wall, which you see here in front of us. And then we'll walk underground underneath the Muslim quarter houses.
I'm so scared.
I'm feeling National Treasure. 3.
What movie did you say this reminded you of?
National Treasure 3. Hebrew edition.
Oh, damn. We gotta grease you up to get you through here, big boy.
It's not slime. It's not super slimy. No. Oh, that.
I wonder how many times Peter and John walked up. I wonder how many times Jesus walked up these very stairs and heard messages about the church and about Jesus.
They came to the gates and they preached the gospel, and so many people were saved. This is the actual place here.
Beautiful gate, the gate they call Beautiful. But it was a place that people have, walked these stairs for thousands of years to go up and worship God. They say these were the steps that Peter and John met the guy, I think he was blind, and they healed him, and and then the guy called before the maybe it was the Sanhedrin or the council, or whoever it was, and questioned as to how they did it, and they said it was through the power of Jesus and all that. So pretty historical spot. We just kind of broke off for some quiet time to pray, and some people got headphones on and they're listening to worship music. And the thing that I was really thinking about that was really hitting me was so many times I think people view themselves based on their past, things that they've done or who they were, and I'm guilty of it too. And sometimes I still think of myself as the person I used to be, the old Rob, and the promoter or the stripper or the whatever, the notorious sinner, instead of thinking about who God's called you to be and thinking of yourself that way, and how that limits you when you don't think of yourself that way. Coming to that realization that I need to view myself like God views me, not like the old me, not like my past, because that's not who I am anymore. And how when I do view myself the way God views me, how liberating it feels to step into that, because that's my true self. I put up a post the other day where I was standing at this spot overlooking Jerusalem, and I had my hands out, and I was talking about Jesus and coming again, and how this is going to be the place that he appears, and how a lot of people are going to miss it because they don't know God, or they don't know the Bible, and they'll miss the rapture, and ultimately they'll fall for the strong delusion, and then they'll have to go through the second half of the tribulation, which is going to be hell on earth. And some of those people, maybe all of them, I don't know, I'm not a theology major, but some of those people are going to miss eternal life. And when I posted it, I don't talk a lot about end times just because it's not pleasant, but it's real, you know what I mean? It's reality. It's not being religious, it's reality, you know what I mean? There was a time in my life that I just wasn't aware of the truth, and now I am. So it's not about being religious. It's like, if gravity exists, that doesn't mean you're, doesn't mean you're religious just because you believe in gravity. It's just real. Some people aren't aware of the truth, like I wasn't for a long time. It's I almost like taking the red pill in the Matrix, you know what I mean? Like, some people live in the Matrix and are not aware that it exists, but, I've been red pilled. It's not about a matter of being religious, it's just I'm a realist. So I posted that, and I got some people commenting on it and liking it and sharing it, and honestly, it's when I feel like my most real self. It's like, because there's times where I don't want to talk about those things. I don't want to talk about Jesus coming again and the end and the tribulation, and because it's not pleasant, and also because I'm like, you know, who am I? Like, I know my past and things that I've done, and you know, so I don't post about those things. But when I do, it's when I feel like my most real self. And anyway, it's just kind of breaking out of that shell of who I used to be, or that mindset of who I used to be, and stepping into who God's called me to be. So anyway, I don't know if any of that's making sense, but it was a thought that I was having and I wanted to share it. He told me that this is the ruins of David's palace, and this would have been the roof of his palace. And you can see it looks right down on the roofs of all these other houses, and this would have been where he saw Bathsheba bathing, and called her back to his place, and ended up almost losing his kingdom because of it. It's pretty wild seeing it though.
We'll take the old tunnel that goes around the side over here to some extent. Then we'll be on the street level, and we'll come out to the Pool of Siloam. Watch your head, Wayne.
Watch your head. Sorry.
It's not too bad.
It's tall, so that helps actually.
So this is the actual water tunnel that the Canaanites dug, and that David came through, and he came up into the city of Jerusalem and attacked it from within.
And coming out somewhere up here and attacking the city from within.
We're at a jewelry store, and that is a real mite from Jesus' day, a widow's mite. What the widow would have dropped in the, what, the offering? Yeah. Okay, so we're in a gift shop in Bethlehem. They specialize in olive wood. You can see there's a nativity scene right there. Just really cool stuff here. Lots of nativity sets, because this is where Jesus was born. Wow, look at that. It's the Last Supper. Just the detail on it. It's carved out of one piece of wood.
Description about the city of Bethlehem, we usually describe the geographical town.
So cute, so cute, so cute. So this is the field where the angels appeared to the shepherds, announcing the birth of Jesus.
If that's the case, I'll look at
To you and your descendants, forever.
Walking into the Holocaust Museum now.
This is a wall that was built around the city in 52 days.
Me and Brando on our way to get tattoos, along with some unnamed person. All right, it's Tuesday morning. It's our next to last day being here, and today's a pretty big day for us. We are going up to the Temple Mount, and then we are going to the site where Jesus had the Last Supper with his disciples, and then to the Garden Tomb. So this might be like the climax of it all.
Which was destroyed by the Muslims in 1009. Now if you...
This is the stone where Jesus was laid. You can see people praying, touching it. I just knelt down and thanked him for the price that he paid on my behalf.
Did you get one of them? Give it to me so I don't.
I want to take some time for you guys to just think back and remember, where were you when Christ called you out of the tomb of frustration and addiction and sin, or wherever, whatever your story was? Mine was depression. Mine was suicide. The enemy wanted me to stay in that grave. He didn't want me to live my life, to have a beautiful daughter and a wonderful husband, and to know all of you guys. He knew I had a purpose for my life, and I think about just the price that Jesus paid for me. You know, I might not ever be able to have enough knowledge or be able to ever prove it, but what I do know is that my life has changed.
For me, just being in this place and knowing what this means. It means his blood was shed for us and his body was broken. I'm going to hand the crackers this way and the juice this way. And as you take it, hand it to your neighbor. I want you to think of the people back home that you need to carry this message one suffering moment to the next. And I'm trying my best to avoid suffering at every turn. But there'll come a day when I'm in Jesus' presence where I won't have to worry about that anymore. I'll be whole. And I'll be living in a shalom peace where there's nothing missing and nothing broken. And until then, this is our memory. This is our foreshadowing. This is our picture of what's to come. And we can have that here and now, even though it may be temporary. It's still possible. It's still ours. And so he took the bread, he broke it, gave it out. He said, "This is my body, which is broken for you. Take it and eat it." Take a drink. Sing love, amazing grace.
Last day here, and we were on our way to the Dead Sea, but it rained today. Today's the first day it rained actually all week. And being that the Dead Sea is the lowest spot on the face of the earth, I just learned, there is flooding going on. So you can see the backup behind me. We've been sitting in traffic for about, I don't know, 30 minutes or so. So we'll see what happens. Okay, we're in Qumran right now. This is where they found the Dead Sea Scrolls in 1947.
Welcome to Masada National Park.
And we are leaving the ancient city of Masada. There's the Dead Sea over there on the left, where we're headed to next. Okay, it's our last day here, and I'm standing on the shore of the Dead Sea about to jump in. So I'm told that anyone can float in the sea. I've never been able to float in my life. I just don't float. But supposedly it's impossible to not float in this water, so I'm kind of excited to see. Okay, it was awesome. I actually floated like a bobber. First time I've ever floated in my life. How much saltier is this than regular water? 10% saltier? 10 10 times salter. 10 times saltier than normal seawater. Look at this. This isn't even sand. This is salt. Look, it's crazy. I want to bag up some of this and take it back to somebody. Take it back and soak in it back in my tub.
Thank you so much for watching my video on YouTube. I wanted to take a moment here at the end to tell you about something that is not only important to me, it's important to the world. Recently, I wrote a book entitled Why Waiting Works: How Fast Sex Prevents Us from Finding True Love and Long-Term Happiness. It has an average 5-star review on Amazon, and it's written so practically that even readers that didn't agree with my stance on waiting have told me it caused them to reevaluate their lives. So if you or anyone you know is single, or if you or anyone you know is in a physical relationship and not married, I am imploring you to pick up a copy of my book. It literally will take you a maximum of 4 hours to read it and has the potential to change the course of your life. It's one thing to do something that you don't completely understand. It's a whole different thing to do something when you know exactly why you're doing it. And that's what my book is really doing for people. So I just want to thank you in advance. Again, this is something that's important to me, but it's even more important for the rest of the world. And I can really use your help to get the message out. Thank you.